I'm here on Cemex's Yateley Nursery Lake this morning. I fished last night, had a £20 common just into darkness, so I was like well chuffed about that. I got down here yesterday morning after fishing on the big pit up near Reading, and I found fish bubbling down here, like down to the left and down to the right. Cast out probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. Dropped a couple of snowman presentations down there. The water's warming up at the moment. The fish are looking for food, so it always pays to give them something to grab their attention. On the business end, I've got a size 6 grabber. On waters like Sandhurst and relatively snag-free waters, you can get away with the size 8 grabbers. But at this time of year, in the fishing that I'm doing at the moment, on weedy, snaggy, structure-infested waters, you need something that's up to the job, and a size 6 grabber's up to the job. That's not going to fail you. The stiffen, although on the packet it says it's 18 pound, it breaks wet knot strength at 20 pounds, so good reliable tackle for these kind of waters. Okay, as you can see, the stiffen coated braid is quite coily there as it comes off the spool. So what you have to do, you have to steam it to straighten it out and then let it set. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So before we tie the rig, we've got to give it one final straightening over the steam, just to iron out any little kinks that are on there and get it perfect. There we are. Lovely. Just got to let it set. You can see the lovely stiff properties of that. Blinding stuff. It is perfect for the snowman. Let's just turn that off. Right. I've stripped back probably 5 inches of the coating to reveal the inner braid. The inner braid's quite a nice braid. It's like a brown and green sinking hook link. Quite supple. So what we do, get our size 6 grabber and just tie it on simple no knot style. For those of you who don't know, you wrap it round on the opposite side to where the eye bends in and meets the shank. Okay, I'm leaving about 2.5 inches there. So once I've wrapped it round, it'll probably be about 1 inch, something like that. So I'll do it 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back through the eye. And that's what we're after. About 1 inch of the exposed braid there, stiffen hook link. So this exposed braid just allows the hook and the bait to move around freely and allow the hook to do its job and hook in. And then all we need to finish it off is a little bit of atomic shrink tubing. So what we do, I've cut off, it's probably just over 1/2 inch, something like that. And that fits over the eye, hopefully. Covering the knot a little bit, protecting it. And what we're going to do is just dip that in some boiling water and create like a cranked over effect, which will create the flip over effect when the hook enters the fish's mouth. The fish moves off, the cranked over bit of tubing hits the bottom lip, causes a whole lot to flip over, catch and hook your fish. Okay, right, we've got the water bubbling nicely. Got our needle nose pliers because we don't want to burn ourselves. What we do is dip the shrink tubing into the boiling water. At the angle, pulling the hook link at an angle to the eye that we want the flip over to be. And that's it. You see I've created the crank over effect there? Lovely. That's what we're after. So, just to reiterate, when it comes off the spool, the stiffen hook link's quite curly like that. It's all springy. And what you need to do is basically steam it straight over the steam that comes out of a kettle. You can do this on the bank, it's probably a little bit easier at home. I mean, with this particular rig, you can knock up like loads in a real short space of time. So there it is, the finished rig. I've got a orange boilie on there, fruit flavoured boilie that I made out of DT's cold water mix. And then I've got some little homemade pop-ups that I made out of this pop-up mix that I got from DT. Lovely it is, with a nice little chocolatey flavour in there. So that basically balances out. Your hook will always sit on the bottom, and then your baits like that will just sit like that. Because of the stiff properties of the hook link, as it's falling through the water, it always gets forced away from the lead. So this, your hook, is always at maximum hooking potential because it's on maximum extension away from the lead. There's no kind of hook link curled up or anything like that. So that's something, as I was saying, you can knock up a load of them like in 15-20 minutes, ready to go. And that is something that I'll be using here on the nursery this spring and summer, and also on the big pit that I'm fishing up near Reading. I mean, I've got 100% confidence in that. You can alter the baits that you use on the hair. I mean, if you want to up it a little bit, you can use a size 4 grabber. Use like an 18, 20mm bottom bait and like 14, 15mm pop up on top to balance out the whole thing. So it's a pretty effective rig and something that I would use on at least one of my rods at the moment. Once again, I'm using my tried and tested rotary setup. I've got a 3-ounce distance casting lead from Atomic, like a buffer bead there, a Unilink swivel, and a 6mm shock bead, rubber shock bead above it. In the case of a crack off or a breakage, this bead just goes up and over the needle knot. Well safe. That's what I always use. So I just tie the hook link onto the swivel. I always like to use a 4-turn Gwinner nut. I want to have quite a nice long hook link because I'm fishing over a lot of rubbish and chod here. So I've got a choddy on one and I've got this Snowman presentation on the other. More often than not, even though I'm using quite a long hook link, I'll set the stop up a little way as well. If the lead buries into any rubbish or munger on the bottom, then it's still sorted. Cut off the excess tag in there. And that's what we're after. Lovely. Nice stiff hook link. A supple bit at the end, allowing the hook to do its business. A little bit here to allow her up near the swivel to allow a hinge effect. What'll happen? The lead will hit down and then the balance bait will waft away from the lead. Perfect to hook any unsuspecting nursery lake carp.